There's only one thing for us to do, Moors, and that's to proclaim our nationality. Welcome to the Moorish Science Temple of America Home Office, Chicago, Illinois. I am Sheikis Deanna L., your host. I have today here in the studio two guests. Sheik Loveville, how are you today, Sheik Loveville? The Moorish Science Temple of America. And I also have a conscious rapper, Il D. Welcome to the show. How are you, Il D?
I couldn't be better.
Great. Il D, can you tell us a little bit about conscious rap? What are you saying when you say conscious rap? What is conscious rap, Il D?
Well, conscious rap can mean a number of things, but to me, it means thought-provoking raps. Stuff that's generated to make you think instead of just stuff that you just bob your head to and dance to in the club. So what I like to give to the people is I like to give them a mixture of thought-provoking rap and also stuff that they can jam to and they can listen to, easy listening tracks as well. Well,
we are talking about Moorish economics today on our show, and we also are talking about preparedness, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for today. Il D, you talked about in our conversation earlier, you spoke about consciousness as far as being prepared for tomorrow. And you spoke about a track that you did. What is the name of that track? And can you give us a sample of what that track is saying, please?
Now, with this track today, it was produced late last year, but it's starting to generate a buzz right now, and it's really starting to climb up because of the things that's been happening in our communities lately, like in Inglewood, in Roseland, and the different areas. We got a lot of violence, a lot of shootings, senseless killings and everything like that. And today has been like an anthem of peace. So in producing that track right there and being brought on that project, that was a real good look for me, by me being a conscious rapper, of course.
I just want the listening audience, when you say conscious, people generally...
Right, they think it's going to be like a message, like I'm going to be preaching to you or anything like that. But
absolutely.
It's always a message in the music because I try to write something that I know that people are going to listen to later and be like, oh, that brother, he just said something informative, you know. But I'll give you a little sample of the first verse.
Thank you, Il D.
Because that's what you've been asking for, right?
Yes.
All right, let me give you a sample of the first verse. The way I started off, I started off the track because the name of the track is Today. So I got to do it today. So the way I started out is I say, I know today we can reach a new objective, come together for a good cause and share the same perspective, staring at a face with 12 numbers in 2 hands. Now is the time that I tell you where I stand. Most of you don't see the forest for the trees, hurt by the harsh reality. Now I gotta leave. We should have no need except the last reprieve. I'm a scholar. There's nothing up my sleeves from Roseland to Rosemore, or the story of how the Moors rose from being aimed at with fire hose to the highest office, overcome all our foes. Promise to use freedom of speech until your lungs get cold.
Ooh,
so when I spoke of the highest office, I was speaking of the President Barack Obama and how we have excelled and risen to the highest office.
Great.
Which is the White House.
Thank you so much. I look forward to Reality Show 2010, and most definitely, I must add, that is indeed conscious rap. Because today we need to come together, you understand, under one banner to make decisions that's going to affect us all. Il D, how did your other rapping friends react to you when they discovered you had started a new journey, ushering in a new era of time with this conscious music? What was it like talking to your friends? Because I noticed there's no profanity in that song.
Yeah, sometimes it can be difficult to be taken seriously if you're not actually doing the same type of rap that's been marketable these days. Because a lot of the conscious rappers, some of them have not gotten the recognition that they should have gotten over the years because of the material that they use. So by me having no profanity and not doing the whole gangster rap thing, it makes it, you know, harder for me to be receptive to the younger audience. But with the thinking conscious crowd, I'm really receptive to them.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I get across to them really easy.
Very much so.
But a lot of my friends, a lot of my rap crew, you know, they doing their own thing too, and they trying to do their conscious thing now. And a lot of the people are starting to wake up more so to the conscious side of rap.
Great. What you're saying, you've been an inspiration to your associates, which is a great thing. Can you give us a little information on that track that you mentioned to me as far as preparedness, briefly on what it is that's coming and what it is families can do? You also mentioned your security background. Can you share with our listening audience the method you spoke of in terms of families having color codes to reconnect when a disaster occurred?
Yeah, that's the whole thing that I was getting at, because I was sitting back thinking one day, and I'm like, if I'm going to help the people out and give them useful information, then I need to think logically on what I would do in the event of a disaster. So just to give a few tips on how I would like to express the concern and the need for people being prepared, I just throw out some scenarios out there, like in case it was a flood or anything like that, a natural disaster like that, people will want to have flotation devices available, lifesavers, you know, fresh linen if they can, you know, in a Ziploc bag on some type of pressurized, you know, plastic bag.
Absolutely. What about, pardon me, LD, you mentioned families, you know, we have families that work, go to school, families are scattered, and disaster never wait until the family's at home in bed. They come when they come.
Right.
You were mentioning also about a color code, a meeting spot.
Right, that's with the other scenario. Like in another scenario, say it's a hurricane or a tornado or earthquake like in Haiti. In these type of events, it's a frenzy, it's chaos, everybody's running everywhere. You need to know who your people are and where they are. So if you are a family, a big family, and you know people are working, going to school, daycare, whatever, there should be like a certain color code that everybody know to change into in the event that there is a disaster like that. Maybe a neon green or a high color, you know, that everybody would notice each other in. A blue, a royal blue, something that can be noticeable. Or a hat, a particular type of hat or a scarf, something that's noticeable that everybody can link up with. And also meeting places. Designate at least 2 to 3 meeting areas, high ground, low ground, or a mutual spot that everybody knows, a family member's house, somewhere where everybody can meet.
That sounds great, and that's one of the things that I have put into my plan as far as my family is concerned. I thank you so much, LD, for your information, for your time, for sharing your experiences with us. I wish you well in your new CD, and I know that you will get the people, the listeners, because we are yearning for that information. And Brother Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, how are you today?
Peaceful, sister.
Great. I'd like to ask you, Sheik Laville, what is the Moorish Science Temple of America Home Office?
The Moorish Science Temple of America Home Office is basically a religious organization or religious society set up for the birthrights of our people. Nationality and birthrights. Nationality is the order of the day. I want to first take a second to commend you, sister, on the wonderful works that you're doing. I think it's great that the sisters are finally taking a stand to put the movement back where it needs to be, because it was the sister that the Prophet Noble Ali was holding up, which humanity was written in her womb. So the Moorish Science Temple of America is basically a mother entity that's set up for the salvation of our people. It represents sanctuary for our people. So just to give you a proper understanding of it, the church is sanctuary for the Christians, whereas the Moorish Science Temple of America Home Office is sanctuary for our people, the Moors. Islam.
Thank you, brother. Can you explain to the listening audience, Sheik, the definition of express trust? We hear a lot about the express trust when we talk about the Moorish Science Temple of America. What is the express trust, and how does it relate to the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
First, let's go into exploring what a trust is. A trust is basically an entity that's created to be managed for the benefit of someone else. Now, when we say express trust, basically what we're saying is this is written or is implied, it's set up, it's express. Pretty much it speaks for itself. And the trust, like entity, which the Moorish Science Temple of America is basically an entity that's set up to act as a governmental entity for our people. So the sheiks or the sheikesses would be synonymous with trustees.
Okay.
So that what they have is a fiduciary duty to the members, much like a politician or alderman, for example, would have duty to their constituency. So
Okay.
there is a certain amount of responsibility and accountability that's supposed to be held with regards to an express trust. So the Moorish Science Temple of America is the entity that's set up with these various trust-like powers, set up to hold the vast estate, which is basically we receive by inheritance, by being heirs, eels and bays.
Thank you, brother. Well, how do the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, which are the descendants of the inhabitants of Africa, how do they draw off of that trust?
As it states in Act 6, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people the truth about their nationality and birthrights. So the first thing one should do is to proclaim their nationality. In fact, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, stated that that's the one thing that we all should do if we don't do anything else. Proclaim your nationality. That's the first step. But we also want to make sure that the audience is clear that the temple that you proclaim your nationality at should be set up properly and able to register properly and be able to give the members what they need, whether it's housing or jobs or whatever, because it has been set up with that special type of power.
The benefits sound like what you're saying to me. The benefits, the way it's set up is you must disconnect from something before you can begin something else. How do a person that has never heard the name Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Science Temple of America Home Office, proclaim their nationality? In other words, what does it mean to proclaim your nationality?
Well, Sister Sheikis, it actually means a lot because first of all, we understand that there is a disconnect. There is a disconnect from the 14th Amendment citizenship status because we are not 14th or 15th Amendment citizens, and those laws were not set up for our salvation. And this is part of the reason why we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was set up for their earthly salvation, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was set up for our earthly and divine salvation. So we're disconnecting ourselves from the church and Christianity and the 14th Amendment status. We're reconnecting ourselves with first-class citizenship as Moorish American Muslims, eels and bays within the royal house, Islam.
You couldn't have said it better, brother. Thank you so much, Sheikh. Sheikh, I'd like to know, what is it that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali left in terms of saving of supplies for the nation so that we may be able to exist beyond that wrath that we know is sure to come?
Well, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, explained to us explicitly that we need to put up a 90-day supply of food and water because essentially those who we depended upon so long were going to let us down. So essentially what he did set up was for us to plan a platform by which we can be prepared. The first thing, as I stated before, is a proclamation of nationality because every nation must worship on their own vine and fig tree, and every nation is seeking their own.
Absolutely.
So the Mexicans are going to assist the Mexicans, the Chinese are going to assist the Chinese, and so forth and so on. So the Moorish Americans need to be prepared to motivate and move out in the same fashion. So we were left instructions to prepare in the event when, not if, when these things are to come to pass, because truly he is a prophet, and the prophecies that he's put out has already been fulfilled. Not a jittle or a jot has been lost, you know. So we're on the path and we're living in the days of prophecy here and now. So save up your food, save up your water for at least 3 months. That's a 90-day food, water supply, Islam.
Islam. So from my understanding that there are programs that are available right now. We have Moors in the community that are very active in assisting the members and the people at large and how to plan to save, what to save, and when to save.